Hello, everyone. Father Norm here. I'm offering this presentation early in this week, but coming up this coming Monday, probably maybe people don't think about it, is Labor Day. It kind of catches a surprise because Labor Day this year, it's always on the first Monday. Well, the first Monday this year is September 1st. So it's coming up. I bring that up because I think it's valuable to step back when we're people of faith and really reflect from a Christian perspective, from a spiritual perspective, on the various aspects of who we are, what we do, and how and why we do it. We all do some sort of work. In fact, I was part of an organization for a number of years called Heart to Heart Communications, and we gave a number of presentations and missions and prayer groups to talk about work life. And we define work as whatever productive activity you do, whether you're working for pay, whether you're a volunteer, whether you're a student, whether you're a homemaker, whatever, we all do some sort of work. And how do we bring a faith perspective to our work? And how is our work influencing us in a good way, hopefully, but also maybe in a way in which we need to step back and say, gosh, I need to be more centered in what I do. When we look at work, understandably in our culture, we can think of it as, oh, well, that's what we do to make money, or that's what we do to be very successful. That's what we do to spend our time. All of that can be valuable. Do we really look at this? And again, remember, work is whatever you do and how you do it. That do we ever look at work as a calling from God? In the book of Genesis, we see that Jesus, or excuse me, God in creation calls human beings to work, to till the soil, to be fertile in what they do in terms of even passing on new life, and doing that as that calling from God. And what a difference that can make. I'm going to share an example. May have shared this before, but again, it's worthy repeating. That there was a woman as a waitress in a diner that served people in the morning, basically breakfast. And this number of years ago, I'll never forget when we talked about her work life. A lot of people would say, well, she's just a waitress. She doesn't make much money. That's not a very prestigious job. And yet this woman had such a spirit and sense about who she was and what she did. And one of the things I said, where does this come from? And she says, well, I come, maybe I don't make a lot of money, but I can make a difference in people's lives in a positive way that can lift them up and inspire their very spirit. And I said, well, tell me about that. And she said, well, where she works in there, that, as I mentioned, it's mainly the morning breakfast. She said so many people come, mainly people who are older, mainly people who are retired. And she said many of them will come and maybe, they're feeling the whole reality of getting older. Maybe they're widowed. Sometimes they're eating alone. And she says she reaches out and responds to them. She doesn't just say, what do you want for breakfast? She talks to them a little bit, gets to know their name and responds to them. And she said, gosh, that's so important. She said, so many people I find there are lonely. And if I can reach out and do that. And this is what struck me. She said to me, I consider my employer, my supervisor, ultimately the Lord God. That God is the one who put me in this place, and I see this as a real calling from God to be able to do something to bring a little more love and goodness to the world. So for her, she looked forward every day, as I mentioned earlier, because we look at not only what we do, but how and why we do it. Whatever that is, whatever your situation, the how, she did it with love. She did it with an attitude of service. Why she did it, making a difference, building somebody up, helping somebody in a positive way, and recognizing that this was her way of furthering God's goodness and love and guidance in the world that needs that today. You know, we live in an age where all kind of positions and jobs, and now we're dealing also with artificial intelligence, and maybe we need to look at that and say, okay, we need to bring that to prayer. We need to say, Lord, in this circumstance, what do you want me to be about? How can I serve you? What difference can I make? There's going to be a lot of decisions already being made about artificial intelligence, but again, what will influence how we go forward? Will we be influenced just by people being caught up in themselves and just making that much more money? Will we be influenced by, wow, how do we use AI to better serve people, to do more, to bring greater good, to encourage human dignity, all of that? I want to end with one person that I know who was a CEO. When she brought people together in terms of their business community, she would ask the question. She knew she couldn't say, well, what should Jesus want us to do? Because people, there are various faith traditions and so forth. But what she did when we brought people together, she brought people together once a week, she asked, as they talked about what was going on, first of all, she asked, what does integrity require us to do in this decision? What's the honest thing? What's the right thing? What's the proper thing that we should be doing as we're looking at this particular aspect of our work? And then she asked, what does love call us to do? Love, not just a romantic feeling, but love, a really seeking the good of other people, building them up, helping them to see their gifts, helping them to feel good about what they do. What does that require? And are we doing that? And how can we do that better? So, reflecting on every aspect of our life, here our work life. Can we see ourselves as partners with God in making the world a little bit better? Reflect on that in your own life circumstance. Happy Labor Day weekend coming up. God bless.